has been alive, apparently. He is the thing that everybody thinks of when they think of cruising, and yet you still come here. So, with that out of the way, please welcome the guest of honor, Mr. Sir John Heel, right there.
It's a very surreal evening. You sit there thinking, things. Is there anywhere else in this God's green earth? Is there anyone doing what you're doing right now? Is there anyone having a toilet seat put over their head by a one-armed man? Probably not. Thank you very much, Ed. Thank you. Thank you, Postmac. Thank you, Norman. I apologise if you're seeing me in a new light with the video and my gesticulations to the roly-polies behind me there. It's great not being the fattest on stage for once.
Sorry to interrupt, John. I know it's late at night time, but of course, I asked him to come by and just say something. You know, you can. Well, you see him on the screen there, is John every day. So I've worked with John for over 20 years, and that's exactly the way he is every day. You know, and you can pick as many moments in your life working on the ship with John. And probably three that spring to mind. The first one is. Probably the most funniest that I've had. Well, probably the most funniest I've had. We were talking about the Carnival Glory. When we just left the shipyard in Crown of Glory, and John was in the lunch, we were just cruising away, having lunch, and he was with Mr. Christopherson having lunch, and he says, you know, the usual John called, Ken, any chance of some eggs, chips, and sausage, you know, for lunch? We didn't want anything that the chef done. So I was like, oh, I'll see what the chef has, you know, so. Well, into the kitchen, and the chef said, yeah, okay, I'll put it together. The chef didn't have these English primers, so he gave me eggs, chips, and sausage, but the sausage he gave me was blood sausage, right? So, of course, I served it to John, and Mr. Christopherson was sitting facing him, having his lunch, and John says, what the fuck is this? He says, well, that's what the chef gave us, you know. So, he said, no. So, he pierced it with a fork, and the blood spewed right across the table all over Mr. Christopherson's shirt. So, that was one of the funniest moments, right? One of the most special moments I ever had, I had a great, it was a great honour of being at John's wedding. You know, John's wedding was at the Grand Hotel in Amsterdam, and it was a beautiful venue. And it was 80 people there, but he had a big band, a 14-piece big band called the Young Sinatras, and he invited me up to sing with them. That's life, and it was a great moment in my life to do that in Amsterdam. So I want to thank John for that one, yes. And of course, the next one is courageous, right? The most courageous thing he ever done for not only for Carnival Cruise Lines, but for a lot of people, guests and crew, was be the cruise director on the Carnival Splendor. Yeah. And last but not least, I don't know the words of Danny Boy. Somebody asked me to sing it in the kitchen the other night at the chef's table. I couldn't because of the operation. So I have to sing it with an Irish accent because I'm going on vacation. So bear with me. Oh, Johnny boy, the blogs are calling from ship to ship and down your iPhone too. The spirit's gone and all the guests are calling. You on the breeze and on the letting too. So please come back as destiny has turned to sun. Or on the magic back to Galveston, 'cause we'll be on the sunshine when it comes back home. Oh Johnny boy, we all love you.
Stay here with us, Ken. Stay here. I want to thank these three young men in a moment, but I should start with the guys here. I want to start with George. Thank you so much. George Solano, everybody. Thank you. It's been a very busy day being here, and of course he was driving our tour bus earlier as well. That wasn't you? Oh, okay. So, of course, George is Colombian, and we please don't mention in your own word writings or reviews that you saw George, because he is wanted by the DEA. Oh, sorry, no, that's not by the DEA, that's for DEA doing everyone else's act. Sorry about that. And Tony's applauding, because I really thank you, Tony, very much. Please, you know, a lot of people thinking I'm going to fire you, but obviously I'm not, because Michael Macy and I would never, ever have any material if it wasn't for you, so thank you very much. Where would I get all my fat jokes from if not from you? Where would I get all my small penis jokes if not from you? Thank you. I can't believe I just said that word in front of you. Ken, I have nothing bad to say about you. I could tell a few Irish jokes, but I won't. It's just an honour to share the stage with you. Mr. Al and I have been through thick and thin. I remember Al when he first came on board, and his first girlfriend. He just kissed her. How's she doing now, Al?
She's a lesbian.
She's a lesbian. There you go. Actually, I have to say, I've played tricks on pretty much all of you. I mean, George, the tricks I used to play on George, I mean, this was back in the day when you could get away with murder. I used to bribe the audience with just all sorts of stuff. So George would be in the dressing room, and I'd come out 10 minutes before his show and tell them to do stuff, and they'd all do it. And you're talking, you know, 1,000 people. So George, my two favourites were when George came out, and I'd said to the crowd, you know, do this, you know, because he played tricks on me and stuff, even though he hadn't. But he came out and he told his first joke, which isn't funny anyway, but in this case, it wasn't definitely funny to the audience, because he came out, told his first joke, and to a man and a woman, 1,000 people stood up, booed, and left. Yes. You know, Al and Tony, we've been playing tricks on each other for years. Al, of course, I put so many different things in the capers over the years that... Do you miss the word capers?
Yes.
You know, Al, some of my favourites that I've done to him over the years, he's done to me, things I've put in the capers. I listed him as Alan's very funny man, comes to the show, and at the bottom, please, no flash photography as it affects Mr. Ernst's medication. But probably the greatest trick I ever played on Al was one he didn't realise. For 2 weeks we were on transatlantic crossing on the Liberty. We left Europe, sailed across for 16 days, and for the whole 16 days Al had no idea that while he'd been on stage, I had asked the chief engineer to take his cabin door off. Take it down to the engine room, put the cabin door back on. For 16 days, Al did not know that what we had done was turn his peephole around so that he couldn't see out, but we all could see in. And there were lines of men waiting to see inside his cabin door. It was no big thing. Tony and Al and George are the lifeblood of Punchline. George is going to be travelling around the fleet, and I really sincerely thank them, because, you know, they are just three brilliant men, and I'm not good enough to steal their material, because their material is obviously already stolen from other people. So, but seriously, they are brilliantly funny. George is going to be putting George Lopez's stuff into play, and we chose George, of course, because he's the only one who can understand what George Lopez is saying. So he's really the translator. No one else can understand what he's saying. But I want to thank them very sincerely for them to have the roasting, to have the roasting done by these three guys is just quite ordinary, and I want to thank them very seriously. They're great friends, and I love them all. Please give them a big round of applause. George, Tony, and of course Ken. Ken and I go way back. And Ken, each and every week I get somebody who says, please, can you put me in Ken's dining room? Each and every day I get that. And the reasons are blatantly obvious why, because of course he's just got a great voice, a wonderful personality. He didn't just kiss the Blarney Stone, he ate it. And it's a joy to have Ken with me on stage. Thank you, Mr. Ken. You know, when Carnival said, start a blog, John, start a blog, please. Write it for a week and just tell us what life is on board. And I go back every now and then, I read those first blogs, and it was, good morning, Carnival is the best cruise line in the world, good night. And that's pretty much what it was. And then they said, well, please keep going, keep going. And one of the conversations I had with the then Senior Vice President and a couple of other people was, the only way I'm going to continue, the only way I'm going to get up in the morning and write this blog is if you let me tell it as it is, that if when we make mistakes, that you know, we're allowed to say, hey, we didn't do this very well. Let me share the good times, the bad times, and the ugly times as well. And that's, of course, what we've been doing. What I didn't know was that it would create a community. And the community is represented here by these three gentlemen. Big Ed and was one of the very first people. I remember that first Bloggers Cruise, right up until about a week before, we didn't even know you were coming, because you said, oh, there's no way I'm coming on the cruise, and then you came. And of course you've had your own following. If you type in Big Ed's name on Google, you're going to see all sorts of references to Carnival. He's become very much a part of the blog, and you know, to have him here and his crew has been a wonderful thing. And you know, host Mac represents Cruise Critic. A lot of people may think that I don't like Cruise Critic. Well, that's couldn't be less than true. I know Al was joking about it later and earlier, and that's only because everybody says, oh, you know, Al sucks and that kind of stuff on there. And I might have to renew my membership. It is of course not true. There are one or two people who don't like me, and sometimes I let them get to me, and I really shouldn't. I shouldn't let them get to me, but I do. And every time I do, kick me in the gentleman's sausage, would you? But I try and help with all the meets and greets, and you know, host Mac and I talk a lot about ways that we can help each other out. And it's been great to have the real, true people of Cruise Critic here. I really appreciate it. And of course, we've had a group of cruise mates who I absolutely adore. They are fantastic people. And Stormy Norman, well, I remember the first time Norman cruised. I was doing the Welcome Aboard show, and I suddenly saw this flashing light. Oh, sorry, it's the security at the back. I looked, no, it's okay. If you come for George. Was there some food on there? Oh, sorry. Doesn't matter, Tony. Mr. Harrison, that's Esposito. Esposito. Tony. It's the fat one. Could be safe there. Okay. You know, Norman, I remember the lights flashing at the back of the room. And I remember being on the show, and I'm thinking, what the heck is that? And then this thing walks down the aisle. And I don't mean Norman, I mean this kangaroo. And there's a kangaroo just walking down the aisle and flashing. And Norman came up and held out his arm and shook it, and I shook it at the front of the stage, and that was the beginning of an amazing relationship. And obviously, you know, Norman has his challenges, but never have I met a man who laughs more about his challenges than Norman. He really is just a great guy and has been through a lot of adversity, and I have nothing but the greatest respect for you, sir, and everything you've been through, everything you do. You love cruising, and we really appreciate having you here. Ladies and gentlemen, to be roasted is a true honour. It really is, and I sat there thinking to myself at the beginning, as the pig in a G-string was humping my leg. It's about time you got some tail. You know, I'm sitting there, I've got a pig in a brown G-string humping my leg, and a toilet seat over my head, and a crown, and fruit baskets, and 3 musketeers over here, and the 3 wise men over here, and Michael Flattery coming out on stage, and I'm thinking to myself, John, you know, you started as a bar waiter, and you used to stand at the back of the room and watch a guy called Gary Hunter and Bill Panoff, and I used to stand at the back of the room holding my bar tray thinking, you know, what it must be like to be able to come on stage. What must it be like to stand on stage and make people laugh? And thanks to Tony's material, I've been able to realise my ambitions. So thank you, Tony, very much again for all the jokes. But seriously, you know, to be honoured in a roast is extraordinary, and I'm really lost for words, and I really am lost for words, because it's 1 o'clock in the morning. In fact, it's 2:30 in the morning, isn't it? It's 2:30 in the morning. You're all nuts, all of you. I will finish by saying that each and every one of you are the reason today that Carnival could celebrate 40 years. It is because of you and the people who've gone before you and the people who will sail after you that Carnival has been able to celebrate 40 years. It's because of the people you see on stage with me to my left, the people who put groups together to come and sail with us, and on my right, the people who make you laugh, who serve you and entertain you. And it has been an absolute honour beyond belief for me to be here. I only wish Heidi could have been here to see this, because it is something I will never forget. And I will finish by saying that I do hope you'll join us on BC6. We'll have news about that, where I think we should do a roast on somebody very special. Having seen what we've done tonight, I have a cunning plan, and I'll tell you more about it tomorrow. Now, I know tomorrow we were supposed to meet at 9 o'clock. We have that lounge pretty much in the morning. Do you want to put it back an hour? Yeah. So we'll do the t-shirts and everything. So let's go for 10 o'clock. Is that okay? Don't worry about the 10 o'clock. 9 o'clock. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of effort went into this. I'd like to thank our film crew, our light and sound techs behind the stage, the people who put the video together, and most importantly, once again, to each and every one of you, I'm truly, truly a humbled man. Thank you.